That same De La Salle brother that I spoke of yesterday, Brendan, his main concern in looking after the schools up in the remote mountain area was, one, to keep teachers in the schools so that the kids were being taught and had a chance of completing an education and moving on to other things in their life. This is Mission Alive. I'm Roger from the MSC Mission Office. I remember a story. One time I was coming down from Tarpini, where I was parish priest, with Brendan in his vehicle. For some reason my vehicle was off the road or somewhere. And I was coming down with him, and we came down to the coastal area and we're going along the highway, and we get to an area where there were villages of mountain people who'd come down and settled. And Brendan said, "I'm looking for a particular teacher, and often he stays here with his relatives." So he slowed down and he was looking into the settlement area, and then all of a sudden he pulled over, put on the brakes and said, there he is, he should be up somewhere in another school. So he jumped out of the car and pointed at the guy and said, "What are you doing here? You should be up there at that school. You got 1 week to get to the school, or I'm going to stop your wages." Now that might seem a bit harsh, but Brendan's concern was the kids were being taught. He's a teacher, he was an educator. That was his concern. Today is the Feast of the Presentation. You might wonder what that story has to do with the presentation. With the presentation of Jesus, Joseph and Mary were abiding by the laws, the rules of their society and the culture and their faith in presenting the firstborn male child. And they lived within that system. And we all live within various systems. Religious, church system, society, politics, economics. We live within a system, and we have to learn to live within that system. That's how we live. With Brendan and that teacher, the system was, as far as he was concerned, there was an education system which required that teachers are appointed and they get to their school and they do their job and they earn their wages. And this guy wasn't, so Brendan jumped on him. And that was a constant work of Brendan to ensure the teachers got to schools and did their job. We are all living in a similar way in our culture, in our system. However, with Jesus, he was able to question things that were not being done right. He was able to challenge leaders, not to drastically change the law of that, but to live within the meaning of the law and their faith, to live out what it meant to be a Jew at the time. And so we too have a responsibility in the same way, and that is part of our mission as church. To live in a society in such a way that the society works properly, that people who need care and assistance get it, people who are oppressed or marginalised are relieved, are brought into the mainstream of society, that what is wrong is righted, that what is evil in the world is corrected. Not to be a rebel and want to change the whole system, but to say, we understand the law, we understand the Christian faith and the Christian law, and we insist that this is lived out properly. We start with ourselves and our own circle of acquaintances, and we try to live out as an example to all what it means to be a Catholic Christian in our society today. The mission is alive because this has to happen. Thanks for being with me. We'll be back again.